a big challenge, but my goodness, Southampton are going great guns under Eckhart. They are one of the form teams now in the Championship. They're just a point off the playoffs as well. So very much looking upwards. Let's take you back to our commentators at Carrow Road. Alvin Martin is alongside Mike Sewell, and really focus on Southampton and how things have changed. And Alvin, often, clubs can be criticised for making these quick decisions of a change in the dugout, for example, but it has worked perfectly for Southampton because they're just soaring right now, having gone, I think it was 21st now to 9th.
Yeah, and I think momentum in football, so we're often here, and now when you've got momentum and you are sort of about 6 wins out of 7, you do come into games believing in what's going on the training pitch, believing in what the manager said over that period of wins, and added to that, your confidence returns, and it's everything confidence. You start to not worry about a pass, giving a ball away. You're allowed a little bit more freedom to play. But look, when you've got people up front with that sort of goal scoring potential, you always feel that the opposition are worried about you, and there's no doubt about it today. We were just talking off me and Mike. The tactical battle between the two managers that today is going to be vital because Norwich are at home. Their fans have had a win. They need another win to really push on now against a team that's on form. So their fans have come here. They'll get behind the team, I've no doubt, in the first 10 minutes. But it's how he sets his team up, Clement. He has to go for it. He has to be adventurous because he wants the crowd to be lifted, certainly in the early stages of this game. But if you overdo it in terms of adventure, you look at the players they've got, and you're playing into their hands to a certain degree. So I think the tactical battle today, Natalie, is going to be very important.
Very much so. What's interesting as well, the sort of forward lineup for Norwich, you're talking about a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old as well. They're very inexperienced when it comes to playing the sort of week in, week out football, scoring goals regularly as well. Whereas with Adam Armstrong in this Southampton side, they've got someone who is proven in the Championship, and now they are the joint second highest scorers at Southampton alongside Ipswich. There's been a huge transformation in their attacking display under Eckhart.
Yeah, there has, and look, they've obviously got that quality and maybe that little bit more quality in terms of the individuals that they've got. But if you add to that, like the service that you're getting as well, you've got to give credit to the people in behind them. Then I think they are the real deal. I think what it is, they've gone from a spell of not playing, a new face coming in, going on a run, getting that momentum, and perhaps they were underperforming. I think sometimes a manager will come in, you mentioned the brief test there, players start to deteriorate a little bit as a team or individuals, and it's a gradual thing, Natalie. It's not something that happens overnight, and they need to be reminded, no, you're not working as hard as you used to. These figures will prove it to you, and they need to be convinced of that, and then once they are convinced, they've only got to lift their personal application by a few percent per man, and you'll find a big difference in the team, and that's obviously what's happened with Southampton.
Well, it is another busy weekend of live football on the Talksport network. Later here on Talksport 2, we'll bring you Coventry against Bristol City in the Championship, which kicks off at 3. At 8, live and exclusive commentary comes from the Premier League over on Talksport as Arsenal host Wolves. But right now the teams are out at Carrow Road in a huge game in the battle at both ends of the table. So let's hand you over to your commentary team. The former England defender Alvin Martin is alongside your commentator Mike Sewell.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, it's a wonderfully bright and sunny, mild mid-December day at Carrow Road, which will be pretty much full to capacity for this intriguing fixture between two teams who 6 weeks ago were both in a similar position. Norwich still down there, but Southampton have recovered in an amazing way to get themselves up to 9th in the Championship table, and as you heard with the odds, they are the favourites to win here, even though Norwich are at home and finally have that home win behind them. The two sets of players are out, they're ready to go. Norwich to the left at the Barclay end of the field in a huddle, Southampton to the right in the shade of the river end, and the two teams will line up as follows. Norwich 3 changes from the midweek draw at Sheffield United. Harry Darling, Ben Kraseni and Amankwa Forson are the 3 players coming in. The ones to drop out, Jakov Medic, Tony Spriggett, and most importantly, Josh Sargent, who has concussion. So it's Kovacevic in goal for them. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation. Fisher, McConville, Darling and Kraseni in defence. McLean, who's recovered from a groin problem, captains the team in midfield alongside Maatsen. Then it's Forson, Wright and Schwartau behind Jovan Makama, who drops into the position normally occupied by Josh Sargent. As for Southampton, 2 changes from their win over West Brom on Tuesday. Jack Stevens, the club captain, is back in defence for Joshua Kwasi, and Ryan Fraser comes in for Tom Fellows, who has a groin injury which keeps him out of the squad entirely. It's a 3-4-2-1 formation for Southampton. The 3 at the back are Harwood, Bellis, Wood and Stevens in front of goalkeeper Bazzuno. Then it's Fraser, Downs, Yanda and Manning behind the front 3 of Azaz, Leo Cienza, the Brazilian, who has been electrifying this season since his arrival, and the top scorer, Adam Armstrong, with 11 goals in the Championship this season, 7 in his last 6, 5 in his last 3. He is going to be the player that Norwich City have got to keep out today. And as we prepare for kick-off, the Norwich fans sing their anthem, On the Ball City, which is considered the oldest football song in the world, or at least they tell you that. And their team kick off defending the Barclay end away to the left in this first half in yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks. Southampton in red and white striped shirts, black shorts and white socks, and they are defending the end away to the right, traditionally known as the River End, and they're playing the ball back to Gavin Bazzuno in goal, and Norwich pressing very high up the pitch already and trying to unsettle Southampton, but already Southampton have space on the right, which is the far side as we look. It's played out to that far side. Ryan Fraser infield now to find Cienza, who is fouled, and Southampton have a free kick around about 25 yards from goal. Alvin Martin.
That opening phase there, Mike, I think gives you an idea where these two teams are. They've come out, they've tried to press the ball really high up the pitch, Norwich. They're patient with it at the back, Southampton, believing in each other, and they found their way out, didn't they? And they've ended up getting a free kick after a lovely move and some passing movement. One team playing with a lot of confidence in Southampton, and Norwich at this moment in time searching for it.
So the free kick looks like it will be orchestrated by the player who won it, the Brazilian Leo Cienza, signed from the German club Heidenheim in September. Vladan Kovacevic, the Norwich goalkeeper, is organising his wall, and then for a moment silence almost descends on Carrow Road. It's gone very quiet.
Nervous.
25 yards out, just to the right of the D. It's away to our left, and we're inside the early stages of this game, and it's going to be Leo Cienza who's going to take it. A bit of a wriggle, and then right foot, he curls it over the wall. It strikes the frame of the goal, and the rebound is headed back in, but straight at Kovacevic by Flynn Downs, who should have scored.
That's why they were nervous. That's why it went quiet. You could sense that they were expecting something really good to happen from Southampton's point of view, and they were right. That was going top bins. How it didn't go in, I do not know. Maybe he should have done better, Downs, but certainly it's a let-off in terms of the woodwork saving Norwich there.
Well, the Downs was the first player to respond to the free kick, which seemed to strike very close to the angle of post and bar. Downs responded. He was right in the middle of the goal, 5 yards out. He was actually running towards the left, but headed it back towards the right where Kovacevic was.
I don't think he generated enough power, really. It was a hard one to get power into because it was straight up. It wasn't coming towards him, the ball. I think that's what really was his challenge there. But certainly, a bright start from Southampton.
We've had almost 3 minutes play at Carrow Road. Game day exclusive from Talksport. Norwich 0, Southampton 0. 6 wins in their last 7 for Southampton. Norwich, in their last home game against Queen's Park Rangers, finally got their home win that they've been craving for so long, and they will be wanting to build on that here today. But already they've had a major scare from the visitors. Norwich have possession.
One thing is for sure, you don't want to be given free kicks away in that sort of area against Southampton. Certainly with Cienza having that sort of ability to be able to execute.
Southampton have been so dynamic in the first half of games under Tonda Eckhart. 15 goals in 21 goals. 15 of 21 goals have been scored in the first half of games since he took over. Norwich still hemmed in inside their own half, right in front of where we're sitting. We're almost at the midway point of the half which Norwich are defending. We're not dead central, but we've got a decent view as Norwich have it midway inside the Southampton half now. Maatsen, central midfield to a Mankwa Forsen who shoots towards goal. It takes a bobble and a deflection and ends up in the arms of Bazunu. And already Southampton come out of defence at pace down their left side. And it's Cienza, a yard in from the touchline, almost in line with the edge of the penalty area, cuts in from the left, plays it square to the edge of the penalty area. Norwich scrambling back, Armstrong on the turn inside the box, then goes down looking for a penalty, but it was a vain claim. Referee James Bell immediately waved it away, and Southampton are forced all the way back to Bazunu at the other end of the field.
Well, it's a quick game, a technical game at the moment. As I said, they're playing with a lot of confidence, Southampton. You just feel that cutting edge that they've got is superior to Norwich's.
Cienza on the halfway line is fouled by Kellen Fisher, who was right on his heels as that ball came into the Brazilian. 27 years of age, Cienza was playing in the 5th division of Swedish football, finding life really difficult in the game before he got a move to Germany, and then started showing what he's worth at Heidenheim before Southampton made him their own. And Southampton are into the penalty area just inside the left channel. Armstrong tries to cut it back to Cienza. Darling puts it out for a corner. They look very dangerous coming forward.
That was again Cienza there, lovely. He just tries things and they seem to be coming off at the moment. A ball came to him, fizzed at him with real pace, and with his left foot he just helped it on its way, and it was into the path of Armstrong, and they nearly got something out of that.
And it's going to be Cienza, who's been heavily involved inside the first 6 minutes of this game, who will take the corner from down low to our left. It'll be an in-swinging right footer. Norwich 0, Southampton 0. Cienza towards the back post. It's a tricky one for Norwich to defend. Downs keeps it alive. Armstrong is in there as well. Eventually it's driven in and it goes wide of the far post. The effort came from Nathan Wood of all people. He didn't connect with it cleanly enough.
No, but I tell you, it was, what was that, 6 inches of the left? They were just standing watching it. I think that probably did get a touch here. I'm just watching a replay of it. Might have got a nick there. Just took it away from that bottom corner. Yeah, it did.
The goal kick though, and Norwich try to come forward themselves. They then win possession on this near side. Their right, standing just a couple of yards in from the touchline, is 32-year-old Tonda Eckert, their head coach. He's the youngest manager / head coach in the EFL. He's only the second youngest behind Fabian Hürzeler of Brighton across the top 4 divisions. That's remarkably young, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But again, with that comes a vibrancy as well. When you look at this game and the start of it, I think they've been maybe rocked a little bit here, Norwich, because you can see the potency of Southampton. You can see the confidence that they're playing with, and I think it's a stage in the game where Norwich think, oh, hold on a minute, we've got to be careful here, because if you do take chances, this team is more than at this moment in time willing to take you apart.
Norwich have it inside the centre circle, just inside Southampton territory. Pushed out to this near side, the right, away to our right with Kellen Fisher. Midway inside the Southampton half. Then Kenny McLean runs to the edge of the box, squares it in. Makama was coming in, but he couldn't get there ahead of Wood. And eventually Southampton put it out for a corner. And it's the first time inside 8 minutes that we've seen Norwich mount an attack.
Clever play, wasn't it, by McLean? He went past Shander as if he wasn't there, and he put a ball into a lovely area in the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for him, there wasn't a Norwich player to get a touch on it, but excellent play by McLean. We spoke about him before the game. He's the one that takes responsibility on. They've had a dodgy start to the game, and that was a very, very good intervention by the captain there.
Jacob Wright Sign from Manchester City will take the corner from the far side. In swinging right footer, low to the near post. Didn't really connect that well. Maatsen heads it back in, but hits. Header is going to dribble out. It might well be another corner. It's been kept in, has it? No, it had gone out of play. And Southampton do have a goal kick. It remains Norwich 0, Southampton 0 on Talksport. We've got live commentary of Coventry against Bristol City with Ian Danter and Chris Owellamo coming up at 3 o'clock in Game Day exclusive here on Talksport. Live football across the network for you this weekend. And certainly in terms of Norfolk, a glorious weekend in terms of the weather. Forson heads it on for Norwich, but Southampton defend it and have it in the left-back position. Good, strong, sliding tackle that Alvin Martin would have been proud of from Kellen Fisher.
Yeah, he's certainly a competitor, isn't he, Fisher, on this right-hand side? He just give a couple of needless free kicks away, but that was a really well-timed challenge. And he's certainly got his hands full with Scienza. Scienza there, the number 13 for Southampton. He's full of confidence, and he's obviously pivotal in the build-up play. A lot of it's gone down this left-hand side for Southampton.
Elsewhere in the Championship, the 12:30 kickoffs, Oxford 0, Preston 0 and Stoke 0, Swansea 0. League One also goalless between AFC Wimbledon and Mansfield and Huddersfield and Wigan, but there has been a goal in League Two. Colchester 1 up at Salford City. Bristol Rovers 0, Swindon 0 as Southampton try to mount an attack, and that's not the best clearance by Kovacevic, who's way off his line, and Southampton go for the long ball, but they can't find the target. Finn Azaz trying to capitalise on the fact that Kovacevic had come 25 to 30 yards out of his goal, but didn't clear it very comprehensively.
He made the right decision to come, certainly, because it was a very good ball, but he just skidded off the surface, took him by surprise, and he gifted possession back, and it was a nervous moment, let's say.
One other update to give you in the Women's Super League: Everton 1, Arsenal 2. Here at Carrow Road, it's goalless between Norwich and Southampton. Two teams who were in the bottom 4 together just 6 weeks ago, but Southampton now find themselves in the top 10 of the Championship. Bazunu is well out of his goal now, but there's no one pressing him inside the Southampton half. They have it. Captain Jack Stevens across to Wood, and now Harwood Bellis back into Nathan Wood again. Having to be patient. Stevens finds a gap to this left side, and Manning trying to release Scienza wins the throw-in.
Good quality football by Southampton, isn't it? You know, there's a thought process. You know, they're playing on the ball at the back. They're waiting for openings. They are pressing pretty well, Norwich, but they're good enough at this moment in time with the confidence that they've got within their team, Southampton, to beat that press.
Throw-in in line with where we're sitting, midway inside the Norwich half. On this, the Southampton left. Manning into Azaz, who I think was trying to release Adam Armstrong, but he was way off with his bearings, and it's out for a Norwich City throw in the bright sunshine. In fact, so bright that Kellen Fisher might struggle to see upfield. That said, the floodlights are on already. Do they really need them? I guess the Southampton half of the field is in the shade. Yander all the way over to Fraser and back into the centre circle to Taylor Harwood Bellis, future son-in-law of Roy Keane. He's engaged to Roy Keane's daughter Leah. Is Taylor Harwood Bellis. Picks up a lot of tips from the former Manchester United captain. Southampton coming forward on the right. Azaz with a cross. In comes Scienza. Fisher wasn't ready for the cross. Manning then delivers it to the back post. I say that quite loosely because it was way beyond the back post, but Norwich very open at the back there for that first cross. Yeah, look,
you can see there's a difference in the quality and the mentality of both teams here, and it's quite noticeable, isn't it? You know, every now and again, I think, you know, you've got McLean in the ranks if you're a Norwich supporter. You think, you know, he's had a moment where something could have happened, but they desperately need a goal, don't they? Norwich, but at this moment in time, Mike, you think, okay, who's the more likely? You'd have to look at Southampton because they're a team playing with so much confidence and fluency.
And they've just stolen the ball off Norwich inside the Norwich half and want to throw in midway inside their opponent's territory. We've had 13 minutes of play. It remains 0-0 on Talksport with this game day exclusive, the first of two on Talksport 2. Coventry, Bristol City coming up at 3. Fraser Down the right for Southampton. Back down the line for Harwood Bellis, who checks, slows it to a pedestrian walk just to look around and see what options there are. The ball is now played through midfield to Cienza and out to this left for Manning. It's all very deliberate, controlled, composed stuff from Southampton. Are just waiting for their moment, aren't they?
Well, you know, I can see that, but they are being pressed. You know, they're not having it all their own way, but you know, Norwich are pressing, and they're doing it with their intelligence as well. So they are making it difficult. But at this moment in time, they've just got an edge to be able to get out. They forced the, you know, winning the ball back there, Norwich, but it's doing that consistently that'll be the problem. And they've got to get this man on the ball at the moment. The forward, he hasn't really seen him, have we? You know, he's big, he's strong, Makama, and not really seen enough of him in terms of getting the ball to him and then joining him. You know, they need to do more of that. Southampton have got a lot more fluency and a lot more service going into their front players.
I guess in defence of Makama, he has had to play out on the right for much of the season because of Josh Sargent being the focal point in attack, but now he's got his chance to play in a position where he excelled at Lincoln, from whom Norwich signed him in the summer. He's got 4 goals already as a Norwich City player, and they're trying to get forward now, just outside the box. Not a good clearance, though, by Southampton. They recover momentarily. Norwich have it with Pelle Madsen towards the edge of the box. Right, first time, Amankwa Forson from the edge of the area, manoeuvring for room to find a space for a shot. He can't do that. Plays it to the left to Cresceni. Now it's with Oscar Schwartau to his fellow Dane, Madsen. Infield to Harry Darling now, who was suspended for the Sheffield United game in midweek. Now McLean, who of course scored that memorable goal for Scotland a few weeks ago to take them to the World Cup. Hasn't scored for Norwich this season. They could do with some goals from Kenny McLean.
Better spell though, Mike. You know, they've just got to sort of start to get into the game in terms of control a little bit more. String a few passes together, starve Southampton of the ball.
Down the right now, Fisher, early cross in, headed out by Wood to McLean, who nods it back down to Fisher at the right-hand angle of the area, away to our right. And Jacob Wright is trying to win it back. Now Cresceni to the left of the box, goes for the shot, but he was never really set. He was off balance, and it lands in the crowd at the river end of the field.
Yeah, way off the mark, wasn't he? But a better football in terms of the build-up. You know, they must have strung, 15, 20 passes together there. You know, and you can see it's just lifted the crowd a little bit.
Norwich starting this game second from bottom of the Championship, 5 points from safety. Southampton starting in 9th position, and they could move into the top 5 if results go their way this weekend. A remarkable transformation. But Norwich still have it inside the Southampton half. 0-0 with 16.5 minutes played at Carrow Road. Cresceni down the left to Schwartau, the 19-year-old Danish winger. Infield to Wright. Now McConville. Fisher from the right side this time, midway inside the Southampton half. Central for Wright. Madsen over the top. No one read the pass. It's through harmlessly to Bazunu.
Well, it's certainly gone. It's been a good game of football. They've had a better of it, Southampton. Little shout out for the man in black, who's refereeing. I haven't really noticed him. You haven't mentioned him. Isn't it nice?
Yep. I think I mentioned his name once just because he awarded a free kick, but James Bell has kept a low profile so far. That's what we like to see in terms of a referee. Ball is out on the left side for Norwich. It's been in that half for several minutes now. McLean into centre midfield where Schwartau is waiting. Ball taken off his toes. Forson with a first-time curler, which on a rugby field would have been a perfect finish.
Well, you can see what he was trying to do, and it was a lovely ball to hit, you know, and that's why I think he'll be very disappointed he hasn't been able to keep this down, because you obviously got to get the flight right and the direction right, but more than anything, you've got to keep the ball down, and he didn't manage to do that. But now another good spell of possession for Norwich. So yeah, just gradually getting back into this game, because they were second best up to 3 or 4 minutes ago.
We're just getting television pictures of a smiling Josh Sargent, who is sat amongst the Norwich staff and players not involved today. He has to go through the concussion protocol, so he won't be featuring at all. As Southampton come forward down the left, near side as we look, Cienza to the edge of the area, crosses in, cleared away by Pelle Madsen, into touch for a throw on this near side. So the attacking is from Southampton now, as opposed to Norwich for the previous few moments.
Looks a good player, Cienza, doesn't he? You know, he's got a left and right foot. You don't know which way he's going to go. He's not a tricky winger. He's more of a number 10 playing out on this left-hand side. Lots of ability.
Didn't feature in their defeat by Millwall, but has featured in all the wins under Eckert. Madsen comes away with it for Norwich and finds Wright in space, just shy of the halfway line. It's an immediate ball down the right side for Jovan Makama, just outside the penalty area. He needs support in the middle. Wright is there, gets the shot away, but it strikes Jack Stevens, who threw his body in front of him. Norwich win the corner.
Well, very good counter-attack. You know, that was sprung really from the edge of their own penalty area by Norwich, and really good quality football. Wright played a great ball into the space. You know, and from that moment on, you can see there was an element of confidence about their passing and trying to open up the Southampton defence. In the end, they were just too good defensively to stop that happening. But you know, that's a good passage of play again, and it's by far their best spell, Norwich.
Corner again will be taken by Wright over on the far side of the field, away to our right. It'll be in swinging, and it's deeper towards the central area of goal, headed out to the edge of the box. It'll land at the feet of Madsen. Goes back to Kellen Fisher, the deepest lying Norwich City outfield player, who in turn goes back to Kovacevic. A few groans from the Norwich fans who felt they could have spread the play a bit there. And now Southampton, under Ryan Fraser's leadership, trying to get out of defence. Ball played into Manning in central midfield. Time to look up and clip it down the right. Cross comes Darling to cover. No goals as yet in the Championship games. Oxford, Preston and Stoke, Swansea. And no goals in League One either, between Wimbledon and Mansfield, or Huddersfield and Wigan. But there have been 3 goals in League Two. Salford City have equalised at home to Colchester, and Swindon are a goal up at Bristol Rovers. Still Arsenal 2-1 up at Everton in the Women's Super League. Here at Carrow Road, as we approach the midway point of the first half, on Talksport, game day exclusive, the first of 2. It's Norwich 0, Southampton 0, and Alvin Martin is alongside me.
Yeah, again, McLean there just bought himself a foul. You know, he's starting to play a captain's role. You can see, oh, nearly got through there, McCalman. But I know, you know, he's wanting the ball all the time, and we were talking about the leadership qualities that Norwich are going to need if they are going to play the way out of this.
Norwich have robbed Southampton of the ball just on the edge of the area. It's squared in, and I think Bazunu made the save, or at least he had some help, as the ball went right across the face of the Southampton goal.
Yeah, they gave possession away in their own penalty area there. I mean, they have passed the ball out ever so well from this point, but you are always taking a risk when you play that sort, and the ball got nicked. And nearly opened up, didn't it? Let's just see. Yeah, I think it was a defender, really. Was it Stevens?
Yes.
Yeah, he made a very good interjection on that near post. Got a little bit fortunate. He was looking at it a bit anxiously, wasn't he?
Could have easily diverted that into his goal from only a couple of yards out. So Norwich have another corner from the right this time. It'll be an in-swinging left footer from their skipper, Kenny McLean. In it comes, low to the near post. Not the best of deliveries from someone who is so good from set pieces, but he will get a throw in now. McLean from just short of the corner flag gets it back from Forson out on the Norwich right. That's a bit of delivery right into the heart of the Southampton penalty area, but they clear very convincingly, and then there's a foul in midfield by Madsen on Armstrong, and Southampton can settle and have a free kick of their own.
Did really well there, Armstrong, and you know, he's scoring lots of goals. He's not the biggest, but he's certainly clever in terms of, you know, leading a line. The ball comes to him, he was surrounded by players, he got it under control really quick with his first touch, and then flicked it off with his second, and then the impact was there. But he's got himself and his team a foul there, a really important stage of the game where they were just starting to get under a little bit of pressure. It's all them clever little things, Mike, you know, that make you a team.
Still goalless.
Oh,
given away from the free kick by Southampton inside their own half. Norwich working really hard to press, but it doesn't quite come off in the end because Southampton have it back with Ryan Fraser on the far side, the Southampton right. but the pressing of Norwich is forcing Southampton into releasing the ball quickly, and they've not looked settled at times. And even there, Bazunu, under pressure from Makama inside his own 6-yard area, has to use a bit of quick feet.
Well, he certainly done the job there, but I'm not sure the fans, the fans would have enjoyed that. It was great. I mean, McCarmel went flying past him, didn't he? Because he dummied him. But next time, will he do the same? We'll have to see. But they're certainly, you've got to give them credit. They're brave in terms of where they play in the dangerous areas of the pitch.
Again, Southampton being kept inside their own half, all the way back to their goalkeeper, and now out to the left-back position, where Stevens pushes it forward to Cienza. And back to Stevens again. And it is good discipline from Norwich. You can't not press if you play for Philippe Clement.
No, I think it's a big part of modern day football, and you've got to do it very, very well against a team like Southampton. If you don't, then they bypass you, and then they're out. Once they're out, they can do a lot of damage with the front players they've got.
Still goalless. We've got 20 minutes or so of normal time in this first half at Carrow Road. Stevens on the edge of his own area. Plenty of yellow shirts in the way, and the back pass from Flynn Downs was going back towards goal, and neither Wood nor Bazunu wanted to take responsibility.
Wow.
But now Southampton are coming forward at pace. Cienza pushes it wide under pressure from Darling, who goes back to Cienza, and the referee's given a penalty. Darling is furious because he immediately went over to Leo Cienza to imply that he was play acting, but the referee has responded by giving a penalty, a yellow card to Darling.
Wow.
And Norwich are furious.
Wow. Well, that all came from having the courage to play at the back. I believe he's got that wrong. I haven't seen a replay. I believe this is a great tackle. No, he doesn't get the ball.
The ball had run away from Cienza as Darling slid in, and he did bring him down. It's a penalty.
Well done, referee. We praised him up before, and that is a massive decision at pace that the referee has seen without the aid of any VAR appliance, and he's got it bang on right. Well done.
The fans of Norwich are saying you don't know what you're doing, but they haven't seen the replay. And to give James Bell credit, he hasn't seen a replay either, and he's got it spot on. It is a penalty away to our left in front of the Norwich fans. Kovacevic is making himself as big as he possibly can in his lilac kit, but it's Adam Armstrong, the Championship's leading goal scorer, Southampton's leading goal scorer, looking to continue his prolific run of form. Referee blows his whistle. Armstrong, right-footed, has it saved by Kovacevic, who beats his chest like King Kong in front of the home fans. Southampton have missed the chance to take the lead.
That is a great save. I'm not using that loosely. That is a great save. He hits this with a lot of power. All right, it wasn't right in the corner, but it's a great save. He gets it right, and it's a wonderful save to keep his team in the game.
Well, he's a popular figure already, Vladan Kovacevic. He's very good at shot stopping, and he's proved it there. Southampton have a corner, though. Norwich spirits lifted. Southampton's drop as Manning plays it in, headed out by Darling, who conceded the penalty. Further away by Schwartau. Southampton looking to try and keep this alive, and eventually it's Darling who heads it away, and Norwich can't quite break. They had numbers up there, and it's just not being put on the floor for anybody to control until Maatsen tries to get away with it. No foul on the Dane. Norwich want a free kick. You can tell by the boos ringing round Carrow Road, but they've had an escape thanks to their goalkeeper.
And do you know what? You've got to give credit to Southampton as well, because they created that situation through real good football. They got themselves a penalty. They've missed the penalty. I'll tell you what, I already had the pen in my hand, Mike, because the form that Armstrong is in, you couldn't see him missing that penalty, but he has. Well, he hasn't missed it. The keeper saved it. A great save it was too. But the atmosphere in here is really being lifted. That save has lifted the Norwich fans. Can you hear them now?
Well, they're having there to Penneth at the referee, who's given a free kick in favour of Southampton for another foul on Leo Cienza. The Norwich players and the fans are feeling that maybe Cienza is making more of it than he should be, and that's why Kenny McLean and Harry Darling are having quite an animated conversation with James Bell.
Well, I wish I could be involved in that. I'd say, Darling, he's right. He's made the right decision, and he still won't know, the referee.
Well, he's now going over to one of his assistants on the far side. This could be possibly problematic, or, well, he's not actually gone.
Is it a missile?
No, he's actually gone to take. Yeah, I thought he was going to speak to the assistant, but he's gone to remove an object that had come onto the pitch. There's still going to be a free kick to Southampton. It's midway inside the Norwich half, about, I don't know, 10, 12 yards outside the box towards the right. Too far for a direct shot?
Yeah, too far. That was a lollipop, by the way, he removed. Yeah, it was a lollipop. I got that one. It looked like a dart, but it was a lollipop. But no, this is a ball that's probably too wide to go for goal. But he will be looking at putting this in between the goalkeeper and the last defender.
We're just watching replays of the free kick that was given. Kellen Fisher conceded it. It was a free kick. Then Harry Darling, I think, still frustrated by what we now know was a penalty. The decision there, steps in and has another go at Cienza. And then he says he's injured, although it didn't look to me like there was much contact. Free kick then from the right. Cienza to take. Almost half an hour played 0-0. Low ball in. Falls to Fraser on the right. Hooks it back. Armstrong with the shot. Whoa, that was Mark Hughes-like on the turn into the side netting.
It's just he did it so quick, Mike. You know, at the moment he's on fire, and he gets himself. His first touch is brilliant, and he gets the shot away quicker than anyone else could on the pitch. You know, it's a player that's really in a good place in terms of his confidence.
Really good atmosphere now, with around 15 minutes left of the first half. It might be 0-0, but it's a fascinating contest.
Well, it's anyone's game, and it's such a massive game for both teams.
Southampton pressing now, ball all the way back to Kovacevic, the hero of the moment for his penalty save from Adam Armstrong, who has so far scored 7 goals in his previous 6 appearances, 5 in 3, 11 in total. He scored home and away against Norwich 2 years ago when they were in the Championship together. He's got a good record against them. He's got a good record of late, but he couldn't beat Kovacevic. Schwartau for Norwich, misplaced as he tries to control it. Maatsen steps in, concedes another free kick. There have been a lot of free kicks given, and most of them have been conceded by Norwich.
And also, you know, in Norwich's favour, I think they're an improved side. You know, they're not flowing, and they haven't got the individual ability that maybe the front line has of Southampton, but you can see they're an improved team. They're working really hard. They're pressing the ball. They're pressing aside. They're probably passing the ball as well as anybody in the Championship at the moment, and they're making a decent job of it.
Another free kick against Norwich again. The fans are getting a bit restless. That's the natives, that is. They are a bit restless here at Carrow Road, where it remains goalless. There has been a goal, though, in one of the other Championship games. Preston have taken the lead at Oxford. They lead by a goal to 0. Stoke 0, Swansea 0 in the other Championship game. As Southampton come forward, and it's played down the right channel, but Kovacevic gets there before Armstrong.
Well, he certainly plays high out, doesn't he? And that's the reason why, because again, he was in there, Armstrong. He's got a turn of pace. The ball was slid in perfectly, and if the keeper doesn't come for that, he's through.
Southampton throw-in on the far side of the field, taken by Ryan Fraser, back off a Norwich player for another throw-in to Southampton. Just a yard or two inside the Norwich half on the far side of the field. Still goalless here, and still goalless in League One. League Two, though, Swindon now 2 up at Bristol Rovers. Ian Holloway up against his former club. And Salford Colchester remains 1-1, and in the Women's Super League it's Everton 1, Arsenal 2 at half-time. Fraser down the right for Southampton, jinking his way around Cresceni and delivering a really good cross, but no one was attacking the ball. The boozer for Leo Cienza, who's been at the heart of everything for Southampton. tries to cross it in low towards Armstrong, out for a Southampton corner, and now Cienza has gone towards what's known as the snake pit here at Carrow Road, and he's being hissed at. And now I think he's done that on purpose. He's placed the ball well outside the quadrant just to get a reaction, and then there's a smile towards the fans in that corner. The Brazilian, shielding his eyes from the sun, will take this corner. Low to the near post. Fisher rises to head away. Manning back in for Southampton. Downs rises, but there's an infringement and a free kick, and Norwich get a free kick, and it's the biggest cheer of the afternoon from their fans.
I think they'll be more than happy with this first 33 minutes. I think they've got the balance. We talked about the tactics for the game, the balance right between trying to score and also being solid.
Fisher towards the edge of the Southampton area, but the final ball is a poor one, and then Pelle Madsen slides in and literally, as he's gliding across the surface, puts that ball into touch on the near side of the field. We haven't had a goal, but it's been a good game. Entertaining.
It's been a very good game. We've had a great save from a penalty, and we've seen obviously Southampton play some beautiful approach play, but we've also seen Norwich put them under a lot of pressure and have their own moments as well.
It's been a good start for us on Talksport 2, game day exclusive, the first of two commentaries. The second one is going to come from the game between the leaders Coventry and Bristol City. Ian Danta and Chris Sawelamo will be there for Talksport 2. Don't forget, Talksport Breakfast is back from 6 a.m. on Monday, looking back at all the weekend's action. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist, or if you prefer waking up to tunes, you can always listen to Chris Evans on Virgin every weekday morning at 6:30. The Talksport app is your one-stop shop for all our stations, so you can happily swipe between them to suit your requirements. You can download it from your favourite app store right now. Norwich 0, Southampton 0, 10 minutes exactly, plus stoppage time left at the end of the first half. Wood out to the far side. Again, silence almost descends on Carrow Road, and now it picks up once more as Downs steps away from Kenny McLean. Southampton midway inside the Norwich half. Their fans are positioned on the far side from where we are. There's probably 15 to 1,800 of them in that small section of the South Stand, watching on as Southampton work it out of their own half. Bringing it forward now is Kasper Yander to the left edge of the penalty area. McLean shows his strength to the point where he wins the goal kick. He was pretty physical there with Kasper Yander.
I think that was a statement more than anything. It looks like he is getting a few robust challenges, Cienza. He's certainly caught the eye in this first half. Lots of ability. He's got a goal in him. He's got a creation of a goal in him. And I think both sides, on the right-hand side as well, Fraser is somebody else who's looked pretty good. So they've got a lot of width to their play.
This time it's Southampton who get heavy duty. Armstrong on McConville for a Norwich free kick. Certainly lively amongst the supporters as well as on the pitch as we approach half-time. Down in front of us, several players warming up, including Oriol Romeo, back at Southampton, having previously had a 7-year stint with the club. Signed a contract until the end of the season. He's warming up alongside one or two other players, as Vladan Kovacevic, who saved a penalty from Adam Armstrong in this first half, plays it long, flicked on by Makama, but only into the path of Ryan Manning. And then it's with Kovacevic's counterpart at the other end, Bazunu.
It's hard to know who'll be the happier manager if it stays like this going into half time, because I think both managers will be pleased with the effort that their team have put in.
Certainly Southampton have been more dynamic in and around their attacking third, but Norwich have been disciplined.
Yep.
And they've been committed. They may not have created anywhere near as much, but then I guess that's the way we thought the game would go.
Yeah, that's the way exactly the way we thought the game would go. But Norwich had to get it right. They had to get it right in terms of keeping their supporters on side, because it's their home. There's an onus on them to actually go forward and press and take the game to Southampton without conceding. And up to this point, they've achieved that.
in the Championship elsewhere. Oxford 0, Preston 1, Stoke 0, Swansea 0. There's been a goal in League One where Huddersfield have taken the lead at home to Wigan. AFC Wimbledon 0, Mansfield 0. And now Swindon 3 up at Bristol Rovers. Ian Holloway going back to haunt his former club. Salford 1, Colchester 1 in the other League One game. And still at half-time, Arsenal 2-1 up at Everton in the Women's Super League. Southampton still inside their own half as eventually they decide to go long through Taylor Howard-Bellis. Played forward by Norwich, though, to the edge of the Southampton area. Schwartau, Makama. The angle was tight, but he got right underneath that.
Just leaning back, it's a very good play. They've pressured and pressured and pressured. They've worked tremendously hard without the ball today, Norwich, and they've nearly, borne some fruit from it there. But that ball worked really well to his left-hand side. You're right, the angle was against him there, Mike, but he was also leaning back, and a lack of conviction, really, in hitting it with that left foot.
A classic case of a right-footed player having a left-footed shot.
Yep.
If they're not
he looked
ambidextrous.
awkward, didn't he?
He did look awkward. Still 0-0. Alvin Martin with us on Talksport 2, live from Carrow Road, where with 6 minutes left of the first half, we await a goal. We could have had one, but Vladan Kovacevic put pay to that from Adam Armstrong's penalty. Long ball forward towards Armstrong is too deep, and it bounces through to the Bosnian goalkeeper, who's played every single minute of Norwich's Championship season so far. Vladan Kovacevic, signed from Sporting Lisbon in the summer for a relatively cheap amount of money. I think it was less than £3 million. They got Kovacevic. He's at a good age, 27. Has been questionable with some of his work out of defence with his feet, but you cannot question his ability in terms of shot stopping. He's made some important saves this season, no less so than the one from Armstrong around about 10 minutes ago. Fraser down the right wing, far side as we look for Southampton, straight into the path of Harry Darling, who's on a yellow card. Now the pressure's on Cresceni in the left-back position. Gets out of trouble. Schwartau dummies, allows it to go through to Makama, complete with thick black headband. If he was wearing a basketball vest, he wouldn't look out of place, Jovan Makama. Here's Darling, midway inside the Norwich City half. The play has been slowed to a walk. Now Maatsen, who works so hard in that midfield area, plays it to McLean. Captain now right to Fisher, space down the right for Kellen Fisher, back infield to the edge of the area, nicely worked. Forson crosses to the back post, but there's no one there, and the approach play was perfect, but there was no one to finish it.
Yeah, I think maybe the ball in. Oh, can he have a touch on it? He's not sure. In the end, he just played it into an area he was hoping somebody was going to be. McCormick had made the run to the near post and it missed him out. But you're right, very good approach play, and I think they've had moments. They haven't had an absolute clear-cut chance, but certainly enough to encourage him in going into half-time.
Philippe Clement issuing instructions from the touchline, as is Tonda Eckert. They're about 20 feet apart either side of the halfway line in their technical areas, both sporting jackets, although Clements is zipped down. It's not as cold as you might think for the 13th of December. It's a very mild day in East Anglia, as Wood chases back inside his own half to get the ball ahead of Schwartau. Tentatively plays it forward. Norwich are chasing everything at the moment. Downs, who had a really good opportunity inside the first 2 minutes, didn't he? From the Cienza free kick that hit the crossbar, bounced down to Downs, who was quickest to react, but he couldn't get, as Alvin mentioned, enough power behind his header to beat Kovacevic. McLean surveying the scene ahead of him, up to the halfway line. First time ball flicked on by Wright to Schwartau, and then back to Jacob Wright, left hand angle of the area. First time ball in, Makama's in there. It goes right between the legs of three players, including two Southampton defenders, and harmlessly away from danger.
Well, another good moment, and again they're playing with a little bit more confidence now. I think the Norwich fans will certainly be appreciating the effort they put in, but also the that quality that you need at this level to be able to open teams up, that's starting to show itself as well.
Still goalless, 2 minutes plus stoppage time as Yanda rides the challenge from Kenny McLean and brings it into the Norwich half for Southampton. Now Cienza down centre field, right-footed low shot which fizzes beyond Kovacevic's right post. Goodness me, he didn't break stride and he hit that ball with so much power.
Well, he's fed the ball midway into the Norwich half. He drives with it and he moves so freely. He's got the ball at his feet, but nobody can catch him. And when he struck it, it really did look like it was heading into that bottom left-hand corner.
I'm trying to think who he reminds me of.
Yeah.
His style of play.
Well, I'm looking at him thinking, he's a Premier League player. I'm looking at him and thinking, he's got that a little bit of extra.
Joined from Heidenheim in September, did Leo Cienza. He's shown his quality already here, striking the crossbar with a free kick. It's been an absolute pain in the neck for Norwich, who've committed several fouls on him. And as we now move into the final minute of the first half, Norwich have to defend again inside their own territory. Maatsen doesn't clear properly. Armstrong, it drops to him. Brilliant recovery tackle, though, by Pelle Maatsen, when Armstrong had options right and left. And now it's Norwich who attack. Away to our right, Forson heading towards the angle of the penalty area, up against Manning, delicately into the channel, but asking far too much of Jacob Wright.
Yeah, he's had his moments, Forson, and he offers them pace down the right hand side, but his final ball, maybe if that had been a bit better, you never know, they could have gone in with a lead here, Norwich. Maybe it wouldn't have been deserved, but certainly, they've had good spells and good positions and a decent amount of possession, really, Mike, inside the Southampton penalty area, which is not easy to get.
It's been a goal in another of the Championship games, and Ben Pearson has scored it for Stoke City, who desperately need a win. They've been, I wouldn't say they're in free fall as such, but despite some reasonable performances, they just can't get points at the moment. But they lead at home to Swansea. As we're told, there'll be 2 minutes of additional time here at Carrow Road, where it remains goalless. It's the only one of the 3 Championship games kicking off at 12:30 that hasn't got a goal so far. Huddersfield still leading at home to Wigan in League One. Swindon 3 up already at Bristol Rovers as they approach half-time. Salford 1, Colchester 1. We'll have all the half-time scores with Natalie in a few moments' time. But here it looks like we're going to go into the break goalless. But having seen a decent first half, here's McLean in central defence almost, looking around for options. You can almost hear the players talking to each other on the pitch as it goes quiet inside Carrow Road. Sun beginning to drop below the stands. Almost the whole pitch is now in shade as Fisher loses the ball to Cienza, and then Maatsen uses his strength. It was shoulder to shoulder with Cienza, and then a brilliant response from Flynn Downs, the former Ipswich player, should I add, with a slide. There's been some really good sliding tackles, haven't there?
And again, the referee's let it go. He's seen what's a foul, what isn't a foul. I'm sure the Norwich fans will still be complaining, but if they get in at half-time and get themselves near a screen that shows the highlights, they'll see that he made the right decision in awarding the penalty for Southampton that was then saved.
If you were on the judging panel at Strictly, Alvin, you'd have been giving 10s for some of these sliding tackles.
I've enjoyed them, and do you know what? It's lovely to see, isn't it? I think the crowd have enjoyed it. We might not have had a goal, but there's been certainly a few cheers for crunching, not crunching challenges. That's the wrong word for it, because that sounds like somebody's going into hate another player. But actually going into a sliding tackle, winning the ball, and it's poetry in motion. I think when you see a good tackle, a well-timed tackle like that.
Southampton have another free kick, and again it's going to be Leo Cienza to take it. He seems to be moving further back down the pitch every time he gets a free kick. He's gone from 25 yards to 35 yards, now he's nearer the halfway line, but it's towards the right. He's just placed the ball slightly further forward, to the irritation of the Norwich fans. We're now in the 3rd minute of added time. Cienza delivers it, curls it. Oh, it's a good ball as well, and it's headed towards goal, but the flag had already gone up, or in fact I think there might have been a push as Harwood Bellis headed towards goal, and the referee decides there's no more play to occur here. The half-time whistle goes to a warm ripple of applause around Carrow Road, mainly from the Norwich fans, it's been pretty eventful. It's been entertaining. Cienza struck the crossbar with a free kick after only 2 minutes. That was a real statement of intent from Southampton, who then won a penalty just shy of the half hour after Harry Darling brought down Leo Cienza, who's been a real thorn in Norwich's side. But Adam Armstrong, who had scored 11 goals this season, 7 in his previous 6 games, was denied by a brilliant penalty save from Vladan Kovacevic, which means at half-time here at Carrow Road, it's Norwich City 0, Southampton 0.
Yeah, Mike, thank you very much. Let's look back on that first half then with Alvin Martin alongside Mike there at Carrow Road. Pretty eventful game so far for you, Alvin. And when you consider where these two sides are in the league right now, with Norwich in the relegation zone and Southampton pushing to get into those playoff positions, it doesn't feel as though there's much of a gap between them, really.
No, it doesn't. I think, you'd have to say on the quality side, around the final third, Southampton has shown a better quality. They played some really good approach play in Cienza. They've got a player really. We're both waxing lyrical about him. He looks like he hasn't got a weakness. It's not just the ability he's got when he's got the ball at his feet. I've seen him working up and down as well. He's on the left hand side. When he has to, he puts a shift in defensively as well. So he's a full package to me. He was unlucky not to find the top corner with a free kick from 22, 23 yards. And whenever he's got the ball at his feet, he looks like he can go past people. He knows that when he has gone past them, he's always trying to pick out the right ball. So yeah, he's been the standout individual. But look, I think it's been a really entertaining game. I think the tactical game between the two managers has been fought out, and they've both achieved what they wanted, I think. Look, it's anyone's game as well. When you think about how tight it is in this division at the moment and where they can go with a win here, Southampton, they'll be coming out second half looking for all 3 points, I'm sure, because with the 3 players they've got up front, they will feel that there's no way they're not going to score a goal in the 45 minutes or more that remain.
Obviously, you mentioned there Leo Cienza and how brilliant he's been already for Southampton in this game and across the season, no doubt. And you mentioned something in commentary that I wanted to pick up on. You said you think he is one of those that could certainly play in the Premier League. So what is it about him that, for you think he's Premier League ready to a degree?
Well, I think when you move up a level, it gets more difficult, but it also gets easier as well. It gets more difficult in the people that you're facing. And I think Fisher, as a right back, has done pretty well against him today, but he has gone past him on 4 or 5 occasions as if he wasn't there. And that's not just Fisher. I think he could do that to other players on the pitch. But when you move up and you've got great players around you, really, really good players, whenever you've got the ball, they know where you're going to be able to place it. They know your ability, and they will run, and you will find that as soon as you get a ball and you've got a picture in your mind, the player that you're looking at does exactly what you want him to do. Also, you've got people that give you the ball with much more accuracy and earlier. They just see it. The players that feed you the ball see the ball a split second earlier, which gives you a better opportunity to get the ball under control and then do what you want with it. But he's got everything. I don't see anything that he hasn't got. He's obviously got a personality side to him as well, because he's had a lot of banter. Is it the snake pit down here at Carrow Road? Mike informs me.
Yep. And
he's enjoying the hissing that he's getting from down there. And he's one of them players that seems to raise his game when he's got that going on, Natalie.
It feels like it, certainly. He's not intimidated by the what did you call it? The hiss pit? What was it?
The snake pit.
It's called the snake pit.
Snake pit.
They were hissing at him when he went to take a corner.
I love it. Hey, it's all marginal gains, isn't it? Even with fans, we try our best, don't we? Just quickly then on that missed penalty from Adam Armstrong, a super save that means that Norwich are still in this game as it is goalless at half-time. Is that something that could play on Armstrong's mind? How do you quickly forget something like that?
Yeah, no, I watched him after that, and it didn't affect him at all. His build-up play, his touch, nothing bounced off him. No, so I think he's just one of them players that's in his zone at the moment. It'd take something more significant than that, Natalie, to throw him off course, and he'll feel pretty, strongly that they can get back on course and win this game. There's no doubt about that. But look, in the last game against West Brom, they had a 3-0 lead, I think it was, and then it went to 3-2, and then they got nervous. So you can get at them. but they will take chances around the back. If you get your press right and nick, they only take one, nicking a ball off a centre half and you're through. So this game is absolutely beautifully set up as it is, and we've both thoroughly enjoyed it. You always want to see goals, of course you do, but I've got no reason to say that there won't be a goal in this game. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't more than one.
All right, Alvin, we'll let you settle in, have a little bit of a half-time break as we bring you second half commentary from Carrow Road. Shortly, we'll also look ahead to our 3 o'clock championship game, which is Coventry against Bristol City.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move. This is Talksport 2. Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the world of Trustford. Oh, it's huge. Filled with our friendly team to help you with all our latest products and offers. Like 0% APR on new cars and vans. And there's a wide range of used vehicles all available with Trustford now. Visit trustford.co.uk and discover the world of Trustford. For you. Terms and conditions apply.
When you stuff Christmas with so much sport, you turn a cracker into Bukayo Saka. A winter chill into an Ali Pali thrill.
Luke the Nuke Littler.
And an old mince pie into a 9 darter high.
An astonishing game.
With every match from the Ali Pali darts plus the Premier League this December, turn your Christmas into a Sky Sportsmas to remember. Get a Flexible Now membership at nowtv.com. 18+ UK illegal brand 2.5 megabytes per second required. Full terms apply.
If it feels like your phone hasn't changed in years, maybe it's time to change your phone. Ask more of your phone. Google Pixel 10.
This festive season at McDonald's, get
Grinch deals every day.
Okay. With a sausage sandwich for just...
Let's see, 99p?
6 chicken McNuggets for just...
99p.
Fine. Get Grinch deals every day
in the McDonald's app.
18+ app only. Ends 24th of December. One use per offer. Fees apply to delivery. Participation varies. T's and C's apply.
At Lidl, get the best value this Christmas when you're carving up a storm. We won't be beaten on price with our Birchwood fresh British whole turkeys in store from the 19th of December. Now that's what we call a showstopper. Lidl, more to value. Selected products price matched in most major UK supermarkets until 24th of the 12th. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV while stocks last. Exclusions apply.
I'm Linda, proud mum of Team GB's Emily Campbell. I know from watching my daughter through the years, the slog of training can get ugly. That's why Quaker is the perfect sponsor for Team GB. Because even though their porridge looks flipping ugly, it's the ugly stuff, the real stuff, that fuels us. Quaker, deliciously real, deliciously ugly, sponsor of Team GB.
TV Mag, free inside the sun. Grab a pen and sit down to plan all your festive fun. Oh, TV Mag, double issue size. Grandad snorts through Strictly after eating 10 mince pies. Hey! You'd be crackers to spend over £5 on the Radio Times this Christmas when you can get a free TV Mag with The Sun. Get your 120-page double-issue Christmas and New Year TV Mag this Saturday in The Sun.
The unstoppable force of live football.
Brilliant goal!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
It's finished Preston 1, Coventry 1. Preston were reduced to 10 men in the first half. Their lead at the top now cut to 5 points. Preston 1, Coventry 1.
This game means you can't win every game. I said that when we were 10 points clear. I'll reiterate it now. We need to continue, find ways to improve. We'll be okay.
Thomas Asante a chance, and then Sakamoto! 3-0, Coventry City.
He comes up to it now, right-footed, whips it over the top and sticks it right in the top corner. What a start for Bristol City.
Everyone can look in the mirror, but we would need the resilience from the first second.
Gets it away to the fullback who
drives it across goal, and Ross McCrory has drilled it past Cooper. Bristol City completely against the run of play have got a second goal.
This is EFL Game Day live here on Talksport 2, where we bring you a double-header from the Championship. We'll bring you the second half shortly from Carrow Road, where it's goalless between Norwich and Southampton. But let's look ahead to our 3 o'clock game that's coming your way. It's Coventry, the league leaders, against Bristol City. And joining us to look ahead to it is the commentator for the game. Good afternoon, Ian Danter. How you doing?
I'm all right, Destroyer. How are you?
Well, I didn't do much destroying, did I, unfortunately? No, I'm good.
You had him worried.
I did for a smidgen of that match. Anyhow, nice of you to take time out from Ali Pally to remain with us on the EFL.
Yes, well, we had a great first couple of days, and I see that David Davis is set to cause a bit of a shock for the first match of the afternoon against Mario van der Behardet. So there's some great darts on the app that people can tune into this afternoon. But yeah, I'll be back in a couple of days' time in the run up to Christmas. But yeah, the rumour Ali Pally's not quite got that heady aroma yet that it will have about 14, 15 days in. When it hits your nostrils at that point, Natalie, I need to know I don't need to tell you what that mixture of aromas is, but
I don't know if I want to know.
No, I'm not. It's a family show, this. I'm not mentioning it now.
Exactly. That's certainly for the Watershed Post.
Most definitely.
Okay. Well, as we know, every session live on the Talksport network. Like you say, you can get it on the app and elsewhere too. If you haven't got the app, it's simple to download and you can switch between whatever you want to listen to. Speaking of the darts, there's a few decent numbers around for Coventry City. 51, that's the number of goals they've scored. 44, the number of points. And 13, which is unlucky for some, the number of wins from their first 20 games. But, Dance, of course, they come into this game having not won, I should say, in their last 2. I mean, it's only a blip, isn't it?
I would say so, because there's still a 5-point gap, which is what they had 3 or 4 weeks ago before they suddenly went on a bit of a spurt and others started dropping points. So there'll be some Coventry fans arriving here with a little bit of trepidation, but equally there'll be somebody going, well, look, this is no different to where we were just a few weeks back. And home is where the heart is, and they do have the best home record in the Championship. 7 wins, 2 draws, no defeats. 25 of those 51 goals have been scored here. So the away form at Ipswich was a strange performance. I have to say that both teams were a bit flat for 25 minutes, and then Ipswich woke up a little bit and Coventry never really responded.
Yeah.
And as for Preston, I think the disappointment is that you drop points against a team that have 10 men for a sizable chunk of the game. But Coventry there's more than enough goals to share around the pitch that, you know, even if somebody like Brandon Thomas-Asante, the top scorer, is still out with a hamstring strain, there's more than enough people that can fill in for him.
Yeah, certainly so. And as for Bristol City, they find themselves in 10th at the moment, only 3 points off the playoff positions, and they certainly do have threats in their team to cause Coventry problems, even though they themselves have had a little dip in form.
They're just outside the playoffs. You know, it's a very congested mid-table. And yeah, you got somebody like Emil Rees up front, who scored 4 goals in his last 6 games against Coventry before, when he was a Preston player, before he came to Bristol City. So, you know, he'll feel like he's the man in form against the Sky Blues. They've got certain players back fit again, Bristol City. Cameron Pring, who plays on their left-hand side as a wing-back come midfielder. Very important to have him back. He made his first start of the season. And it was quite a creditable point they got in midweek, Natalie, because they were 2-0 down to Leicester and the fans were letting them know at Ashton Gate in no uncertain terms at half-time. So Gerhard Struber makes a couple of changes. They get 2-2, and from what I've seen and what I've read, they really should have won that game. So their away form's decent too. They've won 4 of their 9 away. So this is not an open and shut case by any stretch. And as you know, Natalie, a lot of times with Coventry it happens that they concede the first goal. They don't always lose it, but they're quite often conceding the first goal, and clean sheets is a problem for Frank Lampard. So, and stars make fights, because you've got 3 at the back for Bristol City, 4 at the back I assume for Cov, so that there'll be imbalances all over the pitch that somebody might be able to exploit.
Okay, well, look, we'll talk more later, but for now, thank you, Dance. That's coming your way then in a 3 o'clock kickoff. I'm just going to quickly run you through the halftime results so far. In the Championship, goalless between our key game here on Talksport 2, Norwich, Southampton. Preston are 1-0 up at Oxford, and Stoke are 1-0 up at home to Swansea. In League One, it's goalless between AFC Wimbledon and Mansfield. Huddersfield lead Wigan by a 1-0, and in League Two, Swindon 3-0 up at Bristol Rovers, and Salford, Colchester 1-1. That one as well. Okay, the teams are out then at Carrow Road for the second half of this encounter between Norwich and Southampton. Will we get a goal? Well, let's hand you back to your commentary team. It is Alvin Martin and Mike Sewell.
Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, we certainly hope there'll be a goal, and I think on the basis of what we saw in the first half, we'd be surprised if there isn't one. And our feeling is, Alvin, that if Southampton score first, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Norwich to recover, whereas if Norwich score first, they've got a good chance.
Yeah, I think then the crowd will be lifted, and can they hang on then? But look, we've had a really good game of football. I think coming into the second half, we'll have two teams that are certainly buoyant. Approaching the second half. Who knows what's going to happen, but certainly anyone's game at this moment.
And we've just kicked off, and so no changes to either of the two lineups made by Philippe Clement nor Tonda Eckert, the Southampton head coach. So Norwich, in their home kit of yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks, are attacking the goal away to our left in this second half. Southampton in red and white striped shirts, black shorts and white socks, attacking the river end away to the right. The goal at that end occupied by Vladan Kovacevic, who made the penalty save from Adam Armstrong. In front of him in the Norwich defence, Fisher, McConville, Darling and Cresceni. McLean and Matson in central midfield. Forson, Wright and Schwartau behind Makama. As Norwich come forward down the far side, I'll give you the Southampton lineup in just a moment. Here is Amankwa Forson from the right, left-footed cross, good delivery towards Makama, headed out to this near side of the area where it's collected by Ben Cresceni, the Norwich left-back. Matson then into McLean to the edge of the area on this left. Schwartau, Forson, his shot towards goal is blocked. He gets a second bite with his right foot, can't connect very cleanly, and it's away by Southampton, one back by Kenny McLean, inside the D now. Wright manoeuvring for space, can't get a shot away, but can he cross it? He can, and it's blocked for a corner, and it's a very good start to the second half by the home team.
It's amazing in football what hard work and endeavour and desire can do for you. You know, sometimes it can replace skill, you know, just by trying hard, and that's all that happened there. There's a passage of play where they refused to let Southampton clear the ball, Norwich, and they kept them under pressure, and they've ended up getting, you know, a little spell of play and pressure that the crowd have appreciated.
So a right wing corner to be taken right-footed by Jacob Wright. All the right answers. Could we have the right move here as it comes in? Darling can't get a head on the ball, hooked away by Cienza, headed back by Matson towards the edge of the box, and it'll find its way out to the far side to Jacob Wright, driven in low. Makama finds the touch and finds the net. With only 2 minutes played in the second half, Norwich have the lead through Jovan Makama, their 21-year-old, signed from Lincoln City. It's a big goal. It's a really big goal. Norwich 1, Southampton 0.
Well, hard work and endeavour kept the ball in play, kept Southampton under pressure. They still couldn't clear the ball. It went up, it was challenged for, it bounced, and as it went out to that right-hand side, I thought, oh, that's a lovely position to cross the ball. And didn't he cross it? He put it right on the money, and it was a fabulous finish. A really difficult finish from the car. It really was. He was more or less near, past the near post, and he's had to re-divert it. He does a wonderful job there. It's a really great finish. Subtle.
Yeah, very subtle, very deft touch from Makama at that near post, as Philippe Clement turns to the Norwich fans and asks for their support. They're going to play a big part now for the remainder of this game against a quality Southampton team who looked the most threatening in the first period, but within 2 minutes of the second half starting, Norwich have struck and they've conceded another foul on Leo Cienza. We've just been told that the crowd here today is 25,627, a little short of the capacity. 1,500 Southampton fans have travelled from the south coast to be here, and they need their team to come back with a response.
Well, as a neutral, it's set up beautifully now, isn't it? Norwich have taken the lead against the informed team who've got a lot of attacking players. You would expect them certainly to create chances, but who knows? What are they going to do? Are they just going to sit back and protect, or are they going to try and maybe, when they break down and attack Norwich, look for a counter and look for a second goal?
The free kick is about 2 or 3 yards ahead of the centre circle. It's played down into the penalty area from a central area, but is headed back out to Ryan Manning, who took it. He picks it up and plays it through the middle. There's space on the right edge of the box for Harwood Bellis, but his opposite number, Harry Darling, shields the ball out for a Norwich goal kick.
Well, you can see this. The ground is very upbeat, isn't it? Very upbeat. They've got the goal. Difficult thing to do against Southampton. They haven't conceded. Another difficult thing to do against Southampton. Can they see it out now? Can they have back-to-back wins?
Well, they're on the break now, down centre field with Jacob Wright, 25 yards out. Pushes it to the left for Cresceni. Now down the line into the box. Schwartau clips it to the near post. I think he was trying to hook that to the far post, but didn't really hit the ball cleanly into the arms of Bazunu.
What was pleasing there from a spectacle point of view is that they flooded people forward. As soon as they had an opportunity, they flooded people forward. So that would suggest that they're not going to sit back and try and protect the 1-goal lead, which I think is the right tactic.
Carrow Road has been transformed in recent weeks. Doom and gloom for much of the season. Right, 25 yards out, central right-footed shot, which strikes his own player. Does it? No, it hit a Southampton player and goes out for a corner. But Southampton backed off there, Alvin.
Yeah, they did. And you can see there's a double whammy there. They've got themselves a goal. It's lifted the crowd. I think they've been heartened, the Norwich players, because they didn't look like creating a clear-cut chance in the first half. They had moments, don't get me wrong, but I think in this second half, because they're playing with a lot more confidence, I think they'll feel that there's another goal in it. And look, against the Southampton team, with the firepower they've got, there's a good chance you're going to need more than the one.
Yeah, you're right. Norwich's corner, again from the right side, to be taken by Jacob Wright. Plenty of players in and around the penalty spot. Swung in with plenty of curl. Forson attacks the rebound, but it was a bit tentative. He didn't really take full control of the situation and just lofts it over the crossbar for a Southampton goal kick.
Not for the first time either with Forson. He's done a few of them today, hasn't he?
Only one defeat in the last 4 games, Norwich, under Philippe Clement, after losing 9 of their previous 11. They've only got 1 home win to their names this season. Whereas, as we know, Southampton 6 wins from their last 7 games under Tonda Eckert, as Maatsen volleys in from about 25 yards out to a chorus of woos and oohs from the Norwich fans.
Well, he chested it down beautifully from 27 yards out, but the looping volley he was attempting there didn't get enough loop on it.
Out it goes for a Southampton throw on the far side of the field. Very lively atmosphere inside Carrow Road, with 7.5 minutes played of the second half. Norwich 1, Southampton 0. Jovan Makama with the goal. Southampton have had a penalty saved and struck the Norwich crossbar, but Norwich have made the better start to the second half, and they need points. They start this game 5 points adrift of safety. They're second from bottom of the table. Only Sheffield Wednesday, with their huge points deduction, are below them in the Championship. But slowly but surely, they're digging in and they're getting points. And if they can carry on like this, they probably will survive. But it's going to be a long, hard graft.
I think we touched on the enormity of this result in today's game for both teams. Like, they want to keep the momentum going to make it 7 wins out of 8. Southampton, that would be one heck of a run, wouldn't it? But like from Norwich's point of view, if they could win this, you've mentioned only 1 defeat in 4, 1 defeat in 5, and them 2 home wins, back to back. That is a real springboard to be able to push off from.
Talk of back-to-back home wins a few weeks ago would have been brushed aside with resignation. Southampton have given the ball away inside their own half. Maatsen plays it through. Recovery tackle was made by Yander, who apologises to his teammates for the initial ball out of defence.
Well, they look a little rattled at the moment. They've got a goal down, Southampton, not having it all their own way. They're still continuing, rightly so, to employ this passing out possession-based football from the back. They're doing that on the edge of their own penalty area as we speak. But they're not really getting anywhere. They haven't been able to mount a real attack, have they, going back the other way, Southampton?
So we have goals in all 3 of the Championship lunchtime kickoffs. Norwich lead here by a goal to 0. Preston made it 2-0 early in the second half against Oxford, but Oxford have pulled a goal back now. 2-1 Preston lead as the ball is played forward to Adam Armstrong on the right edge of the Norwich penalty area. He's forced to go back down the line to Ryan Fraser, and now to Taylor Harwood-Bellis infield to Yander. Now it's with the captain, Jack Stevens. Out to the far side of the field where Manning is waiting. They're having to go from right to left and back against Southampton here. Norwich disciplined. Everybody, including Makama, who's the player that scored the Norwich goal, is behind the ball as Azaz tries to find Yander. It falls to the feet of Fraser, and Southampton have a corner now.
Again, they've got I don't think there'll be that much panic. I think they've just been rocked a little bit by conceding, but they won't panic because they'll know they've got plenty of time to get back in this game. And if they were to get a goal, then the impact on Norwich in terms of their fan base here, what would happen? So 1 goal could lead to 2 certainly, but with them 3 players up front, you get the ball to them, they're going to create. Whether they stick it in the back of the net, I don't know, but certainly creation.
The other scoreline in the Championship, Stoke still leading Swansea by a goal to 0. Southampton with a corner. Manning takes it deep to the far post, headed out by Makama, the goal scorer. Back in by Fraser. Armstrong tries to flick it on. Norwich hook it clear, but only to about 25 yards out, and eventually Fisher tries to play it down the line. Again, it's blocked by Southampton and they pick it up. Manning goes for goal! Oh, and he's found the corner. Kovacevic goes across to save it and should have done better. He can't get a hand to it, and it finds its way low to the left of the goalkeeper who was the hero in the first half. Is he the villain in the second? It's Norwich 1, Southampton 1.
Well, they get a little lucky here. They put the ball under pressure on the edge of the box, and it falls really invitingly for Manning. And he does strike it well, there's no doubt about it, but I think you're right. I think the keeper should do a little better. I think it's a save that is a good save if he makes it, but he will not be happy that's beaten him at that near post.
Norwich failed to clear the ball convincingly, and eventually it fell into that midfield area. Manning was the quickest to respond. He got a lucky bobble off Makama, and then his shot was a good effort, well placed, but Kovacevic should have done better. He was already in that position.
We can see it from this angle right behind. Maybe he was slightly... Did he get off a touch on it even, Mike? He may have got off a touch on it, but you'll feel that if he gets off a touch on that, he should get enough purchase on it just to send it round the post.
As it is, though, Ryan Manning scores his 4th goal of the season to equalise here at Carrow Road, and the only fans in high spirits now are those in red and white on the other side of the stadium from where we are. A man called Forson has just received treatment in the wake of that goal, and Philippe Clement's response is to get 2 players ready to come on, one of them being Jose Cordoba, the Panamanian defender, and the other being Emiliano Marcondes. They are preparing to come on. He's not messing about, is he?
Well, I think the game is, it's always been on the edge, hasn't it, this game? It's not been an easy one to read. And now it's really about where we go from here.
Well, it could be that Southampton get another one because Armstrong is in here. Kovacevic does enough, though, to get his body in the way. And Fisher can clear. For a split second, it looked like Armstrong might have just enough time to lift that ball over Kovacevic.
What a great long ball into the path of Armstrong. And then when he gets there, his first touch is near perfect. And the keeper does well just to put him under enough pressure, as you said. But the game now is looking like it's opening up a little bit.
Really picked up early in the second half here. We've had almost an hour's play on Game Day exclusive. Talksport 2 live at Carrow Road. We're going to Coventry against Bristol City for the 3 o'clock kickoff in the Championship involving the leaders and the playoff hopefuls. Here, though, it's all square after Norwich took the lead through Jovan Makama early in the second half, only to have it cancelled out by Ryan Manning a few moments ago.
A little bit quiet now as well for Carrow Road. The home faithful here, they were enjoying this spectacle up until that equaliser went in, and they're looking a little nervous now. What's going to happen? How are their team going to react?
The ball is with Taylor Harwood-Bellis on this near side for Southampton. High, arcing ball into the Norwich half, which Armstrong is beaten to by McConville. Darling down to the feet of Kenny McLean, who calms down the situation. Schwartau turns into the Southampton half, uses some really neat footwork to get away. Referee plays the advantage after the Dane is fouled. Now Cresceni to the left channel in the penalty area. Forson tries to cross. Norwich get a corner. This game is so finely poised, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, there has been. I'm sure that Norwich as a team have played some of their best football probably this season. It's against the form team in the Championship, and they've given a good account of themselves. So certainly there's an upward trend in terms of where they are, but they need the win, don't they? They need the win.
Sondra Thomas has just scored for Stoke. 2-0 up now at home to Swansea. Corner kick for Norwich. Jacob Wright to take it from the Norwich left towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Headed out by Stevens. Kept alive by Norwich just outside the box. Maatson, clever ball to the left to find Wright on the edge of the area. Low ball in, away off the knee of Stevens. Fisher to this near side now. Wright swings it in deep to the far post. Darling with a header. That looked like handball, but it's bundled in by Jovan Makama for his second of the game. The referee, though, may well be changing his mind. The Norwich players are celebrating. Southampton are complaining. The goal is standing as far as we can tell. It looked like a handball, but before anyone could do anything, the ball was bundled over the line by Makama, and Norwich lead by 2-1.
Well, again, a great reaction from Norwich. A ball that was kept in play. And I've got to say, it was just lofted into a dangerous area, saying, go on, somebody go and get a head on it. They all went up for it. It wasn't cleared. And again, he's in the right place at the right time. I don't see any handball there. I can't see any infringement. I can't see any foul. No, it looks like, again, another predatory goal.
This one looked like it went in off the knee of Jovan Makama. It was headed down by Darling. It did strike the hand of Taylor Harwood-Bellis. He scooped it in, did Makama. I think Southampton might be complaining that the ball grazed the arm or the hand of Makama. That might be why they were complaining.
Well, I think if we had a VAR situation here, that could have gone on for 2 or 3 minutes before it was analysed, maybe even more. But the long and short of it is, 2-1 up now, a great reaction, but they're up against a team that have got goals in them, so nowhere near out of this with 3 points. Just under half, well, just maybe half an hour to go. There's a lot of football left in this, Mike.
I think it did strike the hand of Jovan Makama very faintly on the way in, and that's why they were complaining. In the meantime, Southampton are making a double substitution. Off go Casper Yander and Ryan Fraser, and on come Wellington and also Cameron Bragg, who's just signed a contract. We've got a free kick for Southampton inside the Norwich half. We'll get team news in just a moment from our featured game on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock as Cienza plays in the free kick into the Norwich area, headed out by Kenny McLean. Bragg will get his first touch, goes back to Cienza, who drives forward towards the right of the area, clips in the cross, away once more by McConville, and Norwich are now on the break, and Amankwa Forson is clean through inside the Southampton half. Back come the Southampton players. Forson has to check, he's got support to the right from Cresceni, the cross is in, and Jacob Wright sliding in, Gaza style, Euro 96, can't make the connection.
Wow, what a break. They had men over. Credit to Southampton, they got people back, and when the ball eventually broke out down that right hand side, the ball comes in, all it needs is a touch right across the face of the goal. Nobody there in the Norwich shirt to be able to take advantage.
Wow, what a move from one end to the other. Right, let's get to our second commentary on Talksport 2. The team news is in. Coventry against Bristol City. Ian Danter.
3 changes apiece for both Coventry and Bristol City here at the CBS Arena. Van Eyck, Torp and Mason Clark return for the Championship leaders in place of Kessler Hayden, Wolfenden and Eccles. As for the visitors, the Robins bring in Borges, Knight and Armstrong, Twine, Tanner and Viner all out. It is Coventry City against Bristol City live on Talksport 2. Straight after you, Mike.
Thank you, Ian. Chris Owellamo will be alongside Dance for that commentary at 3 o'clock. We are at Carrow Road, where we've had 19 and a half minutes of the second half. Norwich lead 2-1, but Southampton are coming forward here. Azaz has played it through. Armstrong's offside. Just for a moment, you thought he might be on for goal number 12 of the season.
Well, you know, the game has been really open, hasn't it, in the second half? It really has, and a fabulous watch, has to be said.
Now a double substitution is going to be made by the home team. We intimated it earlier, but it's come after Southampton's changes, and the players leaving the field. First of all, it looks like Ben Cresceni, who's been injured of late and probably needs to come off as he makes his way back to full fitness. He will be replaced by Jose Cordoba at left back, and the other change is in that attacking midfield number 10 role, where Jacob Wright, I think, has had a really good game. He's going to be replaced by Emi Marcondes. So a straight swap just behind the goal scorer Jovan Makama. 2 changes by Philippe Clement.
Well, again, I've got to say that both managers have gone for it, and even then that could have been 3-1, couldn't it? You know, Norwich have thrown people forward on the break. It's like they've already planned for this scenario. If we were in the lead with half an hour to go, this is what we want to do. We want to get, you know, an extra goal.
But they're going to have to defend here as Cienza, who's been quieter in the second half.
Yeah.
And now Norwich get the ball away up to Makama on a hat-trick, gets away with confidence, and now is running himself at the Southampton defence. Still Jovan Makama. Here's Marcondes, and it's in. No. It's a foul though. The ball is in the net, but it ain't going to count because the referee has blown the whistle for what I think was offside.
No, I think it was an infringement.
Or was it infringement?
There was a foul. I think when he was waltzing through there, Makama. He's having a great game, by the way. He's enjoying himself. He had 2 goals, and it looked like he'd got himself into a position where he was breaking away. He lost control of the ball. Somebody cut across. He fouled somebody, and then the ball broke, I think, and eventually ended up. It was a bit of a scramble in the back of the net, but I think the referee's got that well. There's so much going on there, Mike. It was hard to keep a track of it all.
Crazy at Carrow Road as we approach the midway point of the second half. Where's the time gone in the second half?
It's flown.
It's absolutely flown by. And Norwich are flying.
It won't be flying by for the Norwich fans. They want to sit. All this is about is obviously a good performance, but the win. They need the 3 points, you know, and they're up against a team that there's no doubt about it, going to create.
And they're doing that now down the right-hand side. Wellington, right edge of the area, crosses in towards Armstrong. Rory McConville, the Northern Ireland international, slides in to get the ball away. Just that, it's a slender advantage, isn't it? At the best of times, let alone against a team who are top of the form table going into this game, Southampton. Here's Jack Stevens, 25 yards out, wondering where to place the ball, fending off the attentions of the players trying to rob it off him. Now Wellington down the right side of the area. Azaz's cross is blocked, and Schwartau can try and bring it away without success. Now Harwood Bellis for Southampton, and Bragg across to Wood, midway inside the Norwich half, trailing 2-1 here, Southampton. with 68 minutes played. Here's Cienza, goes past two challengers, blocked off by Kenny McLean. Norwich, who have looked dangerous 2 or 3 times on the counter-attack, are trying to do it again. This time nothing happens though, and Southampton work hard to win it back. Finazaz on the ball into central midfield to find Downs, and now Manning, who scored the Southampton goal, flashes it into the penalty area. Norwich come away with it, but then lose it again. It's basically being passed from one team to the other inside the Norwich half. Wellington from the right side now, down the channel looking for Harwood Bellis. Cordoba, another of the substitutes with the peroxide blonde hair, drops to his knees and wins the free kick. And that gives me a chance to update you on the scores from elsewhere. Oxford 1, Preston 2, Stoke 2, Swansea 0 in the Championship. Those games are in the second half. They're in added time in the Women's Super League game between Everton and Arsenal look like they're heading for 3 points. They lead 3-1. It's Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon 0, Mansfield 0, and Huddersfield 1, Wigan 1 in League 1. I'll get to League 2 in a moment because Southampton are pressing forward with Bragg. And now it's out to the left side of the field with Manning. Norwich getting everybody behind the ball here, defending in numbers. Now it's with Wood, central, towards Harwood Bellis. They've gone from right to left and back again. Wellington for Harwood Bellis. They're still waiting for an opening here. Bragg robbed of it by Kenny McLean. No foul on the Norwich skipper, despite the calls from the Norwich fans who start booing. Harwood Bellis down the line for Wellington on this near side. Norwich leading 2-1 as we head towards the last 20 minutes of normal time. Cienza out to Manning, back to Stevens. They can't find a way through, can they?
Well, they're keeping the ball at the moment. I think intelligently keeping it, and it's Norwich who are going to have to come out and try and nick that ball off. And now they've given the ball away. So yeah, the possession was there, but they weren't able to get it into the front three who can do the damage. And credit to Norwich, they're making it incredibly difficult. They're denying that space into the front players.
League 2 scores. Cracking game between Salford City and Colchester United. It's now Salford 2, Colchester 3. They were 3-1 up. Salford have pulled another goal back, so 3-2 there. And Swindon are still 3-0 up away at Bristol Rovers. Both teams have had a player sent off in that game. Here at Carrow Road on Talksport 2, the first of 2 live commentaries on our game day exclusive. Coventry, Bristol City to come as Norwich are forward with Marcondes. I'm not quite sure where he was looking there. Was it a shot? Was it a cross? Is it a plane? No, I'm not sure.
It didn't benefit Norwich, that is for sure.
Southampton have it just outside their own penalty area. Alvin Martin alongside me here at Carrow Road on a very mild December day. Doesn't feel like winter at all. And Norwich City, who desperately need points to drag themselves out of the relegation zone, have a very narrow advantage over Southampton. 6 wins in 7 before today. Could end up in the playoff places if they win, but they've got work to do. Driven from central midfield out to this right side for Wellington, the Brazilian. Infield to Finazaz. Early ball up to Armstrong. McConville nods it, but it's going to be collected on the far side of the area by Cienza. Tries to play it into Manning. Norwich cut out the ball.
They've gradually got to grips with him, haven't they, Cienza? He hasn't really had that much service on that left-hand side for Southampton, but they've gradually taken his effect on the game out of it.
Very effective in the first half. Struck the frame of the Norwich goal inside the first 2 minutes. Won countless free kicks, and the penalty was saved by Kovacevic. He was very heavily involved in the first half, not so in the second, but that's partly down to the way Norwich have defended.
Well, a big plus on the attacking side of Norwich, as well as McCarmer getting his 2 goals. Josh Sargent, we've said, it's 1 in 17 I think he had coming into this game. Didn't play today because he wasn't available, but to have a forward who's got another couple of goals and looks to be in the right shape again in terms of goal scoring. It could be a winter day, and him getting a couple of goals, you can't really decide how big a plus that is for Norwich coming into this game, because coming into the game they'd have been a little concerned about facing Southampton, but the way it's gone at the moment, the way they are at the moment, and the way they've played a lot better than I expected them to play. I thought it would be a case of them just trying to stay in the game, Mike, and put Southampton under pressure. But I think they've done more than that. They've shown that they can match them, and they've shown that they can create against them.
Southampton are making a third substitution. They're taking off their captain, Jack Stevens, who returned to the team today. He's going to be replaced by 18-year-old Jay Robinson, who has featured in most of their games this season, mainly from the bench. Scored his first professional goal just down the road at Ipswich earlier in the season. He is on for Stevens. And just going back to what you were saying, Alvin, about Jovan Makama, he now has as many goals in the Championship as Josh Sargent. They've both got 6 now. Sargent, of course, watching on today, having picked up concussion against Sheffield United. But Makama is making up for his absence, though they're going to have to defend here. Manning coming forward for Southampton away to our right, trailing by 2-1. Manning heads towards the dead ball line, checks on Fisher, but Fisher keeps standing up to him, and eventually Forson helps out, but does concede a corner.
Again, you would expect them to, maybe in the last 10 minutes of the game, if it stays like this, that Norwich might just get a little nervous and start sitting a little deep, and that'd be a dangerous game to play for them.
Salford City 3 now, Colchester 3. Fabio Barini has scored a penalty in that game, so topsy-turvy stuff in the northwest. Down in East Anglia, it's Southampton who have a corner, which Ryan Manning, who scored their goal, will take. Low to the near post, easy for Fisher to head away. Disappointing delivery from Manning. They'll get a second chance from the left side now with Leo Cienza. Plays it out to Manning. That one takes a deflection and loops into the arms of Vladan Kovacevic.
You do sense in this stadium at the moment, they don't know, do they, the Norwich fans? They don't want to roar their team on to attack or to just sit and protect what they've got there.
They've had so much doom and gloom this season.
They're a little bit at the moment in between.
They're not going to take anything for granted. Maatsen under pressure from Azaz keeps the ball in Norwich's possession. Back to Cordoba in the left-back position. And then Maatsen initially lost it, won it back, and then lost it again. Downs for Southampton now. Really pressing here, the visitors. Bragg to the edge of the area. Cienza onto his left foot. Oh, he goes down on the edge of the box. Was that another penalty? He thinks so. There weren't that many calls from his teammates, though.
No, I think he was outside. I think the challenge was before he got there. I think the referee was really well placed as well, wasn't he, for that? Right on top of it. Yeah, looking at it now. Yeah, no, the referee's got that one right as well. Just seen a replay of it.
It was he that went into McConville's foot, wasn't it? That's definitely not even a free kick outside the box, let alone a penalty. Cordoba with the throw-in. 14 minutes left of the game. This is flying by. Norwich lead 2-1 on Talksport 2. Coventry, Bristol City to come with Ian Danta and Chris Owelamo. And remember, Talksport Breakfast is back at 6 o'clock on Monday morning, looking back at all the weekend's football. We've got plenty of it, a feast of it, a Christmas feast. Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist will be in the chairs. You can always listen to Chris Evans if you like your music, though, every weekday on Virgin. You can get both of those on the TalkSport app as Bazunu plays it out to the Southampton left, brought down with a cushioned touch from Ryan Manning to Wellington, back to Bazunu. A bit more urgency about Southampton now, Alvin.
Yeah. Well, again, the possession is okay, but it's in the deeper areas, and they're not getting the ball into Armstrong. And he's the one, really. They need to get it into him and then join him. And Cienza, obviously, he's got the ball now, but he's been marshalled better in this second half. I think they've doubled up on him to a certain degree over there, Mike.
Certainly must have been mentioned in the half-time team talk by Philippe Clement and his coaches. In the meantime, Norwich have it on the right side with Amankwa Forson. Steps into the Southampton half, but his pass is too short. It's won back by Cameron Bragg. And now Manning out to the left to Cienza again. Cuts in field, the Brazilian. Glides in midfield. right-footed to the edge of the area on the right. Headed back by Robinson, another of the Southampton substitutes. Strong challenge from Marcondes is an unfair one on Flynn Downs.
Yeah, maybe a little unlucky there, but again, it's a decent area, this. And not to shoot, but I think certainly an area that they'll think they can put the ball into around the penalty spot and look at maybe second ball around that area.
It's about, I'd say, 35 yards out to the right of centre. Again, Cienza's there to take it. It's all finished in the Women's Super League. Everton 1, Arsenal 3. Swansea have pulled a goal back at Stoke as well. 2-1 now between Stoke and Swansea. Still goalless between AFC Wimbledon and Mansfield, though, in League 1. Cienza, free kick, right-footed, headed out by Makama. Edge of the area, Manning brings it down really quickly and then volleys in with his weaker foot. Can't quite keep it down, so it's a goal kick. And Norwich are about to make a change. They're going to take off Amankwa Thorson and bring on Tony Springett, who was a surprise name on the team sheet when they played Sheffield United in the week. He played at left back then because Norwich have had all sorts of problems in that position. He then lost his place to Ben Crescenny, who's a natural left back. Now he gets a chance to play in the right position for him, which is on the right side of midfield. So Springett on, Thorson off, 3 changes each. 10 plus minutes left, plus stoppage time, and it is wonderfully poised. 2-1 to Norwich.
Again, there's an air of expectancy, or a nervousness that you can totally understand, can't you? With the way things have gone this season for Norwich, so many disappointments. Can they secure this against the team that's playing as good as anybody in the Championship at the moment?
The team of the moment trailing. Maatsen for Norwich into the centre circle, inside the Southampton half. Marcondes again.
He looks out of sorts, doesn't he? He looks out of sorts. He's a technically gifted player, but he just looks like his touch and his awareness has deserted him.
So effective as a deep-lying attacking player, Emi Marcondes. Threads things together, but there are a couple of passes which haven't come off. Maybe it's just he's a bit cold, having come on as a sub. Forward by Bazunu. Time running out for Southampton if they're to keep up their run of good form. Schwartau can't send in a fancy flick to a teammate, and Southampton have it back with Robinson. Good work from Jay Robinson to find another as a substitutes, another youngster in Cameron Bragg. Forward to Cienza, strong tackle from McLean. It's a fair one, no one complains. Now it's out wide for Springett, who's just come on for Norwich. Right edge of the area, step over, crossed in, away by Downs, straight to Marcondes. Brilliant challenge from Bragg to deny him. He was winding up the shot and had a clear sight of goal.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of aggression in this performance by Norwich, and that's something that would really please the manager. The effort and the togetherness of the performance has been exceptionally good.
All the scorelines in the Championship are 2-1 at the moment. Norwich leading here, Preston leading at Oxford, and Stoke leading at home to Swansea. All balanced with about 10 minutes or so left. We've got more commentary to come on Talksport 2 from the Championship. The leaders, Coventry, against Bristol City. That's straight after this game, as Oriol Romeu puts his shirt on and prepares to come on for Southampton. The ball is at the back, though, with Wood, and played out to Wellington in the left-back position, or left centre-back position in Southampton's case. They play 3 at the back. Back into Wood again. 1 or 2 Norwich fans are leaving. Why come to the game if you leave at this stage in a game that's so finely balanced? Odd. That seems very odd to me. Maybe he wants to listen to Talksport 2's Coventry Bristol City commentary without any interruptions. Down the left side, it's Schwartau, robbed of the ball by Robinson, quite appropriately. And now Bragg, who made that brilliant block a moment ago from Marcondes. That could have easily been 3-1. Downs coming forward for Southampton on the far side of the field, their left. Attacking the goal away to the right. Cienza over the top, looking for Armstrong, but it's just that bit too strong a pass.
Darling have really done well, McAvilly. they've gradually taken the sting out of that, that attacker, haven't they? He was a player that they had to deal with today, and you've got to say that he's had his moments, no doubt, but they've really played him well.
Foul by Downs on Marcondes. It was one of those ones that Downs had to do for the team because it would have set Norwich away, and right on the halfway line, Emi Marcondes is in a heap. Flynn Downs gets a yellow card. It's the first Southampton player to be booked, and they're going to make 2 changes. And just to rub salt into the wound, Downs is going to come off as well to be replaced by Oriol Romeu in that central midfield role. The other change, Finn Azaz replaced by Cameron Archer. So all 5 substitutions have been made by Southampton. So Downs' yellow card won't have any impact on today. And, well, bringing on Archer, they're trying to get some fresh legs up front, aren't they?
Yeah.
Needing that goal.
Well, they've lost their way. There's no fluency to their play at the moment. They're not able to get the ball into the forwards, as we've mentioned. And that's again credit to Norwich. They've got a really tight defence. They've got the midfield players in front of them stopping that little sort of 15-20 gap between the 2 lines of defence. That's where you want to get turned on the ball. You want Armstrong to be able to pick the ball up. They're not allowing him to do that, and it's a well drilled and disciplined, intelligent approach to the game that they've had throughout, really.
Emi Marcondes has obviously felt the full force of that challenge, because he's still down receiving treatment, which has given both Tonda Eckert and Philippe Clement a chance to speak to 1 or 2 players who've come to the touchline. I don't want to blow our trumpet of prediction, but we did say at the start of the second half Norwich had a chance if they scored first, and they did that.
Yeah. I think the game is exactly what we expected it to be. I mean, I think that Norwich have played better, I think, than possibly I expected, because I thought they might be a little low on confidence, although they've had an upturn recently. And the game started in the first half looking like, Southampton were by far the better team. But gradually, as this game has taken shape, there's not really too much in it now, Mike, is there? You look at these 2 teams, and as we're watching them now, I can't see, a chasm in terms of the quality that we're seeing, which is credit to the way Norwich have played.
And credit to Southampton, whose resurgence has been remarkable, hasn't it, of late, even though they are trailing here. Emi Marcondes, he was obviously struck in the nose because he's got some nasal pads stuck up there. It looks like he might be all right to continue, although Anis Ben Slimani is being spoken to by the Norwich coaching staff at the moment. I think Marcondes will be all right. He's just going to look a bit silly for the rest of the game. He's off the pitch at the moment, so Norwich are down to 10, but they do have a free kick inside the Southampton half. 4 minutes plus stoppage time on Talksport 2. Norwich 2, Southampton 1. It's also 2-1 in Preston's favour at Oxford and in Stoke's favour at home to Swansea in the Championship. Free kick taken, headed away by Robinson to the near touchline. Kept in, was it, by Cameron Archer? No is the answer to that. And it gives Norwich the chance to get Marcondes back on. It's still all square in both League One lunchtime kickoffs. AFC Wimbledon 0, Mansfield 0, Huddersfield 1, Wigan 1, Salford 3, Colchester 3 is still the case there, and Swindon heading for victory away at Bristol Rovers, where they've led 3-0 for quite some time. Both teams down to 10. Schwartau on the left for Norwich, looking to see this out. Cordoba crosses in early, a little bit wastefully, you could say. Southampton with Archer now. Cordoba then recovers to put the ball down this line and out into touch for a throw-in. Southampton have to get the skates on here.
Yeah, and I think it's down to Norwich now. It's a keep ball. It's not where you're going with it, but the keep and possession. Can you take the sting and stop Southampton getting the ball in advanced areas and pressuring it when you have to as well, rather than sitting back.
2 scorelines from first, the Women's Super League. Arsenal winning 3-1 at Everton, and in the Women's FA Cup third round, Nottingham Forest beat Wolves 2-1 away from home. They're through to round 4. Norwich have it inside the Southampton half. Marcondes looks to have recovered. Back it goes to McLean on the halfway line. Norwich could do with a third goal to finish it off, and they might get it here. Marcondes down the right, infield it goes for Kenny McLean, urged to shoot. kept alive by Springer. It wasn't the best of passes by McLean, and then Kellen Fisher has gone right through Leo Cienza, and there's no complaint there. That card is going to match his shirt. Kellen Fisher goes in referee James Bell's notebook for that very heavy challenge.
Yeah, it was. Again, you've got to give credit to the fullback there for Norwich. He's had a tough first half an hour, 45 minutes in this game, but gradually got to grips with the job. And in the second half, he's come out on top in that duel.
I have to point out as well, if you haven't seen Kellen Fisher before, he's a very slight player. He's not that tall. He's waif-like almost, but he's brave. He's incredibly brave, and he never pulls out of a challenge. The Norwich fans trying to see their side through to victory as they lead with 90 seconds of the 90 left. McConville miskicks his clearance, but it rather fortuitously lands at the feet of Tony Spriggett, who gets on the run, and the ball runs through. Played advantage by the referee. Marcondes, edge of the area, left foot shot. Oh, it's been fumbled! Oh my goodness me! Jovan Makama was a Bazunu hand away from getting a hat-trick. Or was he? The flag's gone up.
Yeah, the flag's gone up.
I'll tone that down a little bit. Well, it's a good save.
Yeah, but look, they're alive, aren't they? And there's an energy, even coming into this last, few minutes. Well, we're on 89 now with whatever time's been added on. There's still an energy about Norwich. They're not sort of struggling to hold on to this game, are they? I think it's Southampton who really have struggled to raise the energy level.
Into the final 30 seconds of the 90. There'll be some added time. We've had a couple of players down for injury, and the substitutions. I'm guessing more than 5 minutes, I would think.
Yep.
That's what Southampton have to get an equaliser. Yellow Army is ringing around Carrow Road as Norwich lead by 2-1. Commentary from Coventry, Bristol City to come. Don't go anywhere after this game ends, because we've got Ian Danter and Chris Owellamo bringing you live coverage of that game from the CBS Arena. Robinson, fouled by McLean inside the Norwich half. 7 minutes of added time. We're into the first of those.
Well, that's plenty of time for a team like Southampton with the armoury they've got. Certainly to nick a point here. Certainly enough time. One worrying thing for him is Cienza's he's struggling. That really firm challenge from Fisher's left him limping, and he looks like he hopefully he's going to be right from their point of view.
He's taken the free kick into the Norwich box, headed down, away. Manning with the drive. It was a good hit as well. Grass cutter. Offside though against somebody inside the penalty area, and that will eat up at more time, as will this double substitution that Norwich will make shortly. They've got Matthias Quiscoren and Errol Mundell-Smith preparing to come on. That's going to break things up. The Norwich fans are lifting their voices, drowning out anything that Southampton fans might be doing. Might be a long old trek back to the south coast for the Saints fans who've made the trip today.
What a massive result this would be for Philippe Clement. What a massive result. Before he came in, they'd taken 1 point from 27. What a great turnaround if they can hang on to all three here.
There'll be 2 points adrift of Oxford, who are playing at the moment. And they are trailing. So if these results stay as they are, Norwich will be 2 points from safety at the end of this weekend. It could actually be 3 if Portsmouth win their game. But at the moment, they're doing all they can to try and save themselves. Still a long season left though, and still 5 minutes left of stoppage time. Forward by Southampton, headed out by Cordoba to this near side, the Norwich left. Norwich can capitalise on some gaps that are going to open up as Oriol Romeu takes out Oscar Schwartau, the Spaniard on the Dane. Referee gives a free kick, doesn't go for his card. Taylor Howard-Bellis is saying to the referee, what's that? Is that a free kick? Well, it looked like one to me.
Well, it is a free kick, and it's a needless one, really.
He stepped across Schwartau. Here comes the double substitution, and it's the man whose goals look to have won Norwich the game who's coming off. Jovan Makama replacing Josh Sargent in that attacking role. Just a word on him, Alvin.
Yeah, no, it's not just his goals. He's grown into the game. He's led the line. He's had the ball at his feet and come out with the ball when he had no right to. And look, it's crying out for a forward that can stick the ball in the back of the net in the situation they're in, and it looks like they've found one.
Chris Scoren is on for him and will replace him in that position. And the other change, Schwartauoff and Errol Mundle-Smith, the 19-year-old, who's yet to make a professional start, comes on for his 5th substitute appearance of the championship season. 4 minutes plus a little bit more maybe for those substitutions to go. Norwich have possession on this left side with Jose Cordoba. He's got Mundle-Smith ahead of him, but he's not been able to keep the ball, though Cameron Archer's put it into touch for a Norwich throw, and they will do their utmost to make these minutes go by as quickly as possible.
I'm looking at Armstrong, the Southampton centre forward, who's been on fire of late. And you know what, Mike? He's looking really frustrated. He's up there. He's being marshalled by 2 centre-halves who gradually have played him out of the game. And if you do that to Armstrong, the way he's playing at the moment, it gives you a chance of winning the game against Southampton.
The odds were stacked against Norwich before this game for a victory. Southampton were clear favourites to win this match, given the form that they were in and the struggles that Norwich have had. But it's been anything but that. The first half, yes, Southampton probably looked the more dangerous, had the chances, had a penalty save, but Norwich have stuck to their task, and they're on the brink of a back-to-back home win here, having beaten QPR 2 weeks ago. 2-1 they lead. Elsewhere in the Championship, it remains 2-1. In fact, it's all over between Oxford and Preston. Preston winning 2-1 in that game. Stoke lead 2-1 at Swansea, and they need a win to Stoke. All square in the League One games at lunchtime. More football to come, though, including on Talksport 2, where we have Coventry Bristol City right after this one. McLean up to the angle of the penalty area to find Chris Scoren. He's heading for the corner flag, and he's being marshalled by 2 Southampton players who can't get the ball away. Still in Norwich's possession on this left touchline with Pelle Madsen. McLean then hooks it down the line, headed out by Harwood Bellis. More seconds tick by. We've got 2 minutes of the initial 7 to go.
There are about 6 players in Norwich stand below us on this left-hand corner here in Southampton half, and they've worked tremendously hard over the last 90 seconds just to keep the ball in there, and that's been something that you associate with the whole performance. The work rate has been phenomenal.
Well, the game management has been really good as well, hasn't it? Because that's what's let Norwich down early on in the season. They didn't manage games when they managed to get ahead, but they've done it here. And Philippe Clement, a lot of talk has been of Tonder Eckert's impact with Southampton, but Philippe Clement's impact cannot be underestimated, especially if they hold out here. Southampton have it. Forward by Wellington, up into the Norwich half. Won by Pelle Madsen, thumped away by Kenny McLean. We're into the 97th minute. We were told there'd be 7 minutes of added time. There may be a little bit extra for a substitution by Norwich, but they're managing to keep possession. Away to our left, inside the Southampton half. Springett up against Wellington. Wins the throw, the Southampton defender. They've got to get forward here, Southampton, Albert.
Well, their composure and subtlety has just evaporated. It's panic now with Southampton. It's Norwich who look the more composed.
Hit forward into the Norwich half, but it's a wayward ball. It's a speculative ball, which is won by Cordoba. He's fending off Jay Robinson with all the strength he has. He's a big unit, is Jose Cordoba, who goes down injured and wins the free kick. Norwich might have done enough here.
Yeah. And look, and they've worked unbelievably hard to get to this point. Got themselves in the lead, and I don't think they've been on the rack. I think they've played so intelligently. They've stopped a really talented attacking outfit creating too much against them since they took the lead. And a 2-1, I haven't really seen Southampton get back in this game. I've got to be honest, Mike, and you've got to give credit to the Norwich team and the Norwich player for the way they've played the game out.
Romeo's got a yellow card for his foul on Cordoba, who's going to take the free kick. The whistles, the shrill whistles, are echoing from the Norwich City fans. The referee, James Bell, is inside the Southampton half, as is everybody at the moment. It's Norwich trying to keep the ball. Quiscoren heads it forward. Wellington thumps it up towards the halfway line. McLean heads it back. Referee puts his whistle to his lips, and the huge cheer around Carrow Road will tell you everything you need to know. This place has changed remarkably in the last few weeks, and Norwich have back-to-back victories given to them by 2 goals from Jovan Makama, even without Josh Sargent, and with 11 senior players on the injury list. Norwich have beaten the informed team in the Championship, Southampton, by 2 goals to 1.
Well, I'm looking at the Norwich players, every one of them. You think they won the league. They know the implication of this result. It could really set them up for an end to the season that they couldn't envisage. If they was to lose this game, it could have had a major down impact on them. But look, they gave everything today. As a team, it shows you what you can achieve with togetherness and pure desire. That's what this game's all about. They showed quality at times, but they were underdogs coming in, and they ended the game, I think, fairly comfortably.
It's like a party atmosphere here at Carrow Road, but it could have been different. In the first half, Leo Cienza hit the crossbar inside 2 minutes from a free kick. But the most pivotal moment, really, in that first half was when Harry Darling brought down Leo Cienza, who'd been a major threat for Southampton inside the area. But Adam Armstrong, you'd have put your money on him, 11 goals this season, 7 in 6 before this game, had a reasonably good penalty saved by Vladan Kovacevic.
Yeah. Look, it was never a dull watch. There was always something happening in this game. It lacked the goals, and they came in the second half. But I've got to say, thoroughly entertaining. I think the Southampton team were gradually ground down. Coming into the game, they had so many players that could have turned this. But I think Norwich should be okay. I think they'll draw on this. They'll gain from it. They'll maybe get Sargent back. They'll have a bit of competition up front. But today was about McCartney won it. It was about his day in producing the goods when they badly needed it.
Well, he's currently being interviewed by television, and I think he's going to get the Player of the Match award as well, unsurprisingly. And Norwich's win has taken them to within 2 points of safety as it stands. But they're doing what they can, and on the basis of this performance, like you say, Alvin, they look like they're going to save themselves from relegation. Final score at Carrow Road, Norwich City 2, Southampton 1.
A huge win then for Norwich, as Mike was just confirming there. It takes them to within 2 points of safety. And Alvin, it's something you said pre-match about how important a win could be for Norwich. When you're beating one of the informed teams like they have just done in Southampton, what a confidence booster that could be then for Norwich and all the fans, everyone involved in that club.
Absolutely. Now they have to look, defeat today and the results going against them, it could have left them 8 points adrift. As Mike said, now they're really back in it, and with this result and with the crowd and this ground rocking, the whole complexion of the league could change on today's performance. But it was hard earned, it was well earned, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable game to watch, from both points of view, because you never knew which way it was going to go. I'd say maybe the last 10 minutes of the game, Southampton will be disappointed that they didn't really have any cutting edge to their play with the players that they had on the pitch.
It kind of all came alive in a sort of 13-14 minute spell in that second half, with all the 3 goals coming in that. Norwich obviously getting off the mark in the second half, and then Southampton responded, but then Norwich themselves made sure that they went back in front. Tell me how impressive Jovan Makama was, because obviously there was a lot of talk pre-match about this. Josh Sargent, he's their top scorer, but he looks as though he's an instinctive striker.
Yeah, look, the finishes were decent. I think the one that he was able to direct at the near post, he was past the near post when he made contact with it. So it was a real striking finisher's goal. So that bodes well for the future. But he has got a physique about him. He's a big boy. He's strong. and he was up against like some very, very talented defenders today. But there were times when he come out with the ball, I didn't expect it. And he looks like he's got mobility to his play as well. So yeah, certainly a player that you would have feel that with goals coming, with the crowd cheering him off. I mean, imagine how that feels now when he's actually taken off a few minutes from the end, and the whole ground rose. I mean, that's going to lift him, and he takes that feel-good factor into his next game.
Well, it's going to lift him, but my goodness, I can hear the atmosphere sounds incredible where you are after that resounding victory, really in the end for Norwich. And this is now this busy part of the season when we've got fixtures coming thick and fast. They're back in action on Saturday. Then there's Boxing Day football. A few days later, they've got a game against Watford, for example. They've got to now capitalise on these 3 points to get themselves out of the bottom three.
Absolutely. And, they've got Preston away next, and then they've got Charlton, 2 home games after that, Charlton and Watford. And look, the atmosphere was great here today. And there was a feel-good factor, there was a buoyancy, and I think if they show that effort, it looks like they've got a manager now that has said, look, okay, the base point where we start is effort. And if you give me that effort, we're going to make ourselves hard to play against. They did that against the best team at this moment in time in the division. Now, if you add to that confidence and the crowd being totally behind their team, that's the extra bit. That's the bit that gives you the goal scoring and the creation in your team. So yeah, it's doable. It's all doable.